So this week is going to be an exciting week. There is lots to talk about, but before that, hi, my name is Manuel Gonzalez. I am a PhD student here in Detroit, Michigan's Wayne State University. I am in the English department, specifically the Rhetoric and Composition, where my concentration is science and technology, and my emphasis is generative AI and post-secondary education. This channel is a week in the life content of a PhD student, where you get to see the ups, the downs, the lefts, and the rights in terms of me crashing out or me having a success story, but this week in particular is going to be a good one. So if you're new here, welcome. Hopefully you like the channel, you stick around, you like what you see, and you continue to watch. And if you're returning, thank you for coming back. So let's get to it.
You know, there's one thing that I want to talk about, and I guess I'm not going to start it stereotypically, or at least update. It is currently 8:08 p.m., and there's the things I want to talk about. Right now, I'm watching my lovely little friend girl, Sarah Fisher, which is a now associate professor at U Miami. So congrats on her when she got it, even though I'm hella behind. I think this video is like from February 3rd of 2025. So I'm almost there. I'm catching up. I've been watching since the very beginning. But with that being said, one of the things that I've been noticing from my YouTube channel particularly is that my intro kind of sucks. Well, I mean, I don't know if it sucks, but like, I don't know. I feel like I'm YouTubing wrong, maybe. But I've been watching her do her videos and trying to like figure out how she goes about like her opening lines and blah blah. And maybe I might start copying her to some extent. I still gotta figure out what my niche or my little cup of tea in regards to like how I'm gonna say it. Because I gotta add my own pizzazz, I guess. I'm not really sure. But I also feel like Sarah has a way better personality than I do. But she goes like, um, she starts off the video with like a general like whatever where she's just talking, and all of a sudden she's like, so if you're new here, my name is Manuel Gonzalez. I am a PhD student in English, specifically rhetoric and composition at Wayne State University in Detroit, Michigan. And then she goes on a tangent or whatever where she's like, I am currently working on like my PhD and trying to figure out my framework for my concept of my identity in terms of my dissertation and all that shit bang. So I would really love it, or I would appreciate it if you would click the subscribe button and join along for the ride, and hopefully you get to see my whole crash out or my success along the way. So for those of you that are not new here, you know that I have. And then she goes on to list the whole conversation of like what has been happening from the previous video to like this one. So I think I'm gonna pick that up to some extent. There is a new shortcut or like a new widget within Chrome called YouTube to NotebookLM converter or something, where it like literally absorbs everything from wherever you want to put it YouTube wise. So in my case, I put my channel and all my videos, and it can do like a deep process of like your channel, like what's working, what's not working. And I was like, holy crap, this is cool. And so I'm doing that and I'm playing with that right now. And so like I'm trying to figure out ideas, and it has like all my channels, all my videos over here, and I'm trying to generate content and trying to figure out how to go about it. I do know that I tend to like say a lot of stuff throughout my videos, such as like if I ever did my intro video that I still haven't done, and then stuff like that. And there's like a sense of accountability that I don't do it. So now I'm trying to see how I can structure that. I'm also trying to see how I can expand my YouTube beyond just to week in the life content, just because. And then on top of that, I also have like little ideas here and there that I would like to do, but I just don't necessarily know how to do it. Even though I'm technology literate and I'm technology savvy or whatever, I don't necessarily like know all this stuff in the sense of like having that creative brain aspect to like make it, which is ironic because my master's is in creative writing, but it doesn't really transfer over. So the crazy thing about like this whole process that I did last night was that I was talking to ChatGPT in regards to like having like an infrastructure of like a system. You know how like people use Notion and they use like, I don't know, some other
AI tools and whatnot. And I was like, you know what, buddy? Like, I understand that there's like a plethora of AIs. And yes, I can be informed with all of them, which I currently am. I'm not an expert in any of them, but I am like well enough informed to be able to know how to use them, properly use them, and handle like the prompt literacy and so on forth for each one. I know what every single like client does in the sense of like their models and like ChatGPT thinking, 5.2, 5.1, 3, etc., etc. So like I understand all those. But I was like, but I need to have like an infrastructure, like which ones are going to be mine in the sense that I use them as a content creator, I use them as a PhD student, and I also use them as a human. So like I had a talk with it. Lo and behold, I was like, okay, well then now we situated the humanesque side and my personal side and my PhD side. Let's do the content creator side. And so that's kind of where I'm iffy in that world of AI because obviously, like, yes, I do content creation, but I don't really I don't live for it. You know what I mean? I'm not making money off of this. I'm doing this as a hobby, not necessarily to become a pro at it. Essentially, ChatGPT recommended me that I continue to stay with CapCut for my video editing software, and then use like the YouTube Studio for the other. But then it kept recommending me a website called VidIQ, or like a program called VidIQ. It's essentially like a channel audit AI or like a coach AI where it reviews your performance, it gives you recommendations that is tied to your like channel's data. So like all your analytics, and it tells you like what to fix, how to fix it, and it also shows you and talks to you about like things that are working and that are not working. It's essentially like a mentor. And so I ended up getting it because I found an associate or an affiliate link that gives you like the first month for free. So I was like, okay, well, if it's for free or for like $1, I think I paid, why not do it so I can see if I like it or not? Now, obviously, I've been using this for less than 24 hours, so I don't really know if it's like 10 out of 10, but I am looking at it and I am liking it. So let me show you some little things. So essentially, I know this is going to be kind of crappy that I could have just done this with like video sharing or whatever, but we have like my video that I just uploaded right now. And so like this is my title for it, and it shows like a number 87 on the corner. And so essentially the higher the better, right? And then it offers you other suggestions of like the title and how it would score based on like the algorithm and people clicking it. Same thing with the thumbnail. I'm really bad at thumbnails. I don't really care, I guess. And this is like a 68, and it will generate video idea or thumbnail ideas and whatnot. It also like processes your stuff, like your description and like your hashtags, to make it look cool or better or blah blah. So there is that. The cool thing is though, this is like the personal website, but if you go to like YouTube in itself, which is like here, it actually shows you like through your YouTube like how you're doing or how you should be doing or whatever you want to call it. So like let's see, like this is my video, and if I go to video edit and like I'm doing my latest video, it does the same thing. Like I have an 87, my description has a 67, but it's like bugged because it says I don't have a timestamp and stuff like that. The cool thing is that because of this program, I've been trying to like actually learn the systems of it. And one of the things that I'm changing is the way that I do my descriptions. Now I'm putting timestamps, and I'm actually trying to do timestamps. I'm making my information kind of easier to process, and I'm trying to like actually be mindful like what the hell I'm doing, right? And so whether it's good or not, I'm not necessarily sure. I'm not looking to like get like a billionaire status or whatever. I'm not going to be the next PewDiePie, but it is kind of cool. I'm not going to lie. So
First and foremost, I want to say that I mean, I already said this, so I'm going to have to like figure it out when I'm editing this, but I was using NotebookLM, I was using vidIQ, and I was using both of those tools to bring up like an analysis of what my channel was particularly like benefiting from, or what was it like doing right, what was it doing wrong, and then based on those like analysis or assumptions, the vidIQ It was more analytical in the sense of like the numbers. So it was talking to me about like how many people watch my channel, how many people like actually like the content, how many people, what people see regarding my thumbnail, regarding my video titles, and my SEO typing graphic. So I have to find like proper keywords for my titles. I gotta do like the clickbait type of titles or whatever. And obviously I don't do that because I don't. When I originally started my YouTube channel, I did it with the intention of doing it as a dear diary, or like doing it as a reflection tool for me, not for the people. With that being said, I kind of did it informally. I just open the camera and I talk, and whatever happens, happens. And if some people like it, they like it. If no, they don't. But I would like, in general, for me to have some sort of target base audience or some people to talk to some extent. It would be nice. But I do understand that I'm messing up in a various amount of ways. And I didn't need AI to tell me this, but now those problems became more prominent and they told me in my face. So I know, for example, that my videos are way too long. They're like an hour long, and nobody got time for that, I guess, to some extent. I also know that there's no like call to action, so I don't tell you to like and subscribe. I don't ask you questions where I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? And I don't realistically embody the whole PhD student type of aesthetic. And I'm gonna give you some couple examples of that right now. But essentially, like, I embody some sort of like friend, or like a overall friend personality, where I come on here and I tell you about my day, like if we were on a FaceTime call, we known each other for years, but we don't know each other, or you don't know me. So why would you care about my life to that extent? And no, I don't think I'm that important, or I don't think I'm important in general for you to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to care about what this little Mexican boy is saying. And I get that. Well, to some extent, I didn't really think about that until like recently, until this. So I haven't fully processed all the stuff that VidIQ and NotebookLM have been telling me, or whatever. It's quite honestly a lot of information, and to process that information from like being like, let's just say 50 pages to being like 1 page or 2 or 3 pages is kind of insane. Now, obviously it wasn't 50 pages worth of content, but you know what I mean. With that being said, there is going to be a lot of changes that I can already see that I'm going to think of implementing within YouTube in general. First and foremost, I am not going to be doing these like, I don't know what these are called, like check-in type of things. And I'm going to purposify my videos, give them a purpose, and not just me being like, blah, 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 because people don't care about the blah, 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 blah. I am thinking of doing like a four genre episodic series. So the first genre would be like me as a PhD student, where I'm going to think out loud. I'm going to tell you what my dissertation is about, or what I believe it's about. Obviously, I don't have a dissertation, but I kind of sort of have like something, because I'm in semester 2. I'm barely almost a year into my PhD. There's no way I have a dissertation. Maybe my identity shifts 2 years more down the line and I'm writing something else. But as of right now, this is my cup of tea. And so because of that, my PhD series is going to be talking about what that currently is, what that entails, what do I mean by that, and et cetera, my framework, and blah, blah. When it comes to the PhD side, I'm also going to like contextualize what I'm reading. I know I say things like, oh, right now I'm reading Flowering Haze, and I read Flowering Haze, and blah, blah, but I don't sit down with you and I don't tell you like, this is what I read, or this is how I read it, this is how I'm processing it. And I don't do the call to action where I'm like, what do you guys think? Am I wrong? Am I good? Does this apply to my PhD? Does this apply to my theory? And then make you guys play along with me. And that's my issue. You can't realistically have an audience if you're not even bringing your audience into consideration. The second thing is I'm going to do a teacher series. And then that's going to show you my teaching philosophy, who I am as a person, who I am as a teacher, what I do with my assignments, how do I do my assignments, how do I go about grading. Now, I do know there's like some FERPA things that obviously I'm not going to show a student's name or a student's paper or none of that, but I do want to do like some sort of methodology where I like show you how I grade, how I think about grading, especially because I grade holistically and all that shebang. And we're going to embody that in episodic videos. I also want to show you my human side. And my human side is like how I feel in general, how I feel about my recently clinical evaluation with depression, with anxiety, with ADHD. I didn't fully tell you about it. I would want to make it into an episode where we talk about it, so you get to meet the humanist side of me, where I talked about. I know that I've talked about in the previous episodes that coming from an MFA to a PhD, my whimsical language is like holding me back, or is making it hard for me to write all PhD like or all sophisticated like. I also want to do like silly, stupid little videos where I'm like, this is what I carry in my bag as a PhD student, or this is what I do in my ecosystem, in my journal ecosystem, and stuff like that. That's those are the videos that when somebody's going to be like, oh, how did you feel about moving from San Diego to Detroit or whatever, and that's what I mean by that. So there's that. And then lastly, I want to do a writer series. And in the writer series, I don't want to fully abandon my MFA side. I don't want to fully abandon my creative side. And although I don't do it like actively 24/7, I do have like some sparks here and there. Like a couple months ago, I wrote 2 children's literature books. And I just wrote them because I wrote them. And I'm probably never going to do anything with them. But I did. And so I would want to be like, hey, like, let me read it to you guys. And then you guys tell me what to do, or tell me what they think, or did I do a shitty job, and et cetera, et cetera. And that's what I mean. And then maybe if I have like a spark here and there, I'll do that. I'm also planning to transition my videos from being the Sunday videos to being Wednesdays and Sundays videos, where overall, the PhD side of things is going to be on Sunday. And then every other week, my Wednesday video is going to switch. So like, let's just say that I do Sunday is my PhD side, and then this upcoming Wednesday is going to be the human side. And then next Wednesday is going to be the writer side. And then the next other Wednesday is going to be the teacher side. And I just do those episodically, while my PhD side or my Sunday side is going to be the week of my life as a PhD student, because that's what my whole channel is embodying. I know it's going to be difficult, but I don't know how it's going to go about it. The thing that the robots or the AIs are saying is that, this is going to be a long video, is that I have an unhinged and I have a real personality. Like, I show you the crash outs, I show you that I'm bed rotting, I show you that I wear my fat people clothes, or like my fat boy clothes, that when I used to be fat and overweight because maybe I have some sort of body dysmorphia or something, I'm not sure. But I do like being comfortable. It says that you offer a sense of messy middle. You are showing that fat boy clothes and the imposter syndrome is real. This makes you more relatable to students currently in the trenches. And it does a comparison that Sarah is, she's the light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm the the mess, which is nice. It says that my vulnerability makes me relatable to millions of students who feel like imposters, while Sarah's comparison is that she's a result of productivity. She shows the results of productivity while I show the struggle to be productive. I brand myself with vulnerability. Like tell you, because my catchphrase is that I'll show you the ups, the downs, the lefts, and the rights, including my crash outs and my bed rotting. And it's like a less glamorous side. I show you that I'm up at 3, 4 in the morning, dealing with grading, dealing with stomach pains, with issues, but I still have to proceed, and so on and forth. And then it tells me that, like, I have a niche. My niche is generative AI and post-secondary education. So embrace your niche. You are the AI and writing expert, or you're trying to become one. So show it. Show it by educating your audience and what you're learning. Even if you
like don't fully know it, learn together type of aesthetic. You can talk about your research, you can talk about how you embody it, how you're trying to figure it out, and et cetera, et cetera. Then it talks about how like you should fully embrace your whole Gen Z professor vibe. I'm not Gen Z, I'm millennial, but I think it means that I'm still cool. So it talks about how like I have a unique teaching style. I have a rapport with my students, and it's phenomenal. They love me in that aspect. I talk about how I use like assignments or opportunities to teach using Kendrick Lamar and Bad Bunny and Glorilla, and I use like hip hop pedagogy in order to teach, and I just do like these little fun activities like my weekly journals and the tea and the gossip that we do, and it removes the content of like being those like Grinch professors that are like you're here to work and whatever. So there's that sense. So first and foremost, what I have to kill is that I have to kill that my videos are too long, an hour plus long. It's terrible. The other thing I need to kill is that you treat your camera like a surveillance tape where you record everything. Everything doesn't have to be recording. So there's that. And then I offer no hooks. There's nothing. I'm not playing the game, and since I'm not playing the game knows it, and the game is not going to reward me. So I guess to some extent I do have to play the game where I have to be like, this week we're doing this. Now you should join us in order to know what happens or to find out what happens. I have to stop the timestamp type of thing where I say, hi, today is Wednesday, January 28th, and it's currently 4:40 p.m. and blah, blah. I have to get rid of that. So this is probably like the final video that I'm going to do that. And it's going to be hard for me to do it, but I'm going to do a lot of takes in order to take away that habit from me. Let's see. And it says like you read your articles for research and you read them, but you don't talk about anything, blah blah. So I should do stuff like stop telling people that you read it, but teach the people what you read. If you read about transfer theory, spend 60 seconds explaining to the audience how it works and etc. And stuff like that. Obviously, there's a lot more to process. Obviously, I have to really fully sit down and do it. But quite honestly, it's kind of sort of crashing me out. It's a lot of information to process, and I am an extremist in every way, shape, and form. It's either I'm in it to win it, and I'm like ready to like fully take over this whole spiel, or I am like, man, screw this. I don't need YouTube. I'm gonna delete my channel. I'm gonna delete everything, and that's where I'm currently at. And I'm not planning to delete my channel because I really feel like I would regret that decision. So I'm not gonna do that. But it is difficult, and it does suck. And I guess this is my unrealistic, or this is my real / unhinged part of my personality where I want to tell you that this shit is difficult. But yeah, I just had therapy session right now, or like an hour or two ago, to talk about this and talk about that whole task paralysis that I have. And it kind of sucks. But I really want to get this down because I really want to keep doing these videos. But I would also like if I just develop a cute little fan base. Well, not a fan base. I don't care about fans. I want people to just talk and just be like, oh, that shit is interesting. That shit is cool. Or your research is stupid. Your research is dumb. I think you're stupid as a teacher. I think you're stupid as a person. And that's fine too. But like, I can't ask for something if I'm not even doing anything to attract that something.
Throughout this whole entire week, I was focusing on two main things. One, I was focusing on the fact that I was trying to do a mega compilation or like a mega vlog video where I embodied like the whole month of January, or like the whole month of December and January into one. I finally finished it. The vlog originally was like 7 hours worth of content, and I tried my absolute best and I trimmed it down all the way to 50 minutes. So the whole month of December is getting cut down, and we are going to be uploading that tomorrow. With that being said, that puts me, I believe, 2 weeks behind from being live. So I have one more weeks of content, and literally this one that you're currently that I'm filming right now. I think what I'm gonna be doing is that for next Sunday's video, I will be montaging those as well, like last week's and then this one that I'm doing right now, so I can now actually like make my content live on a weekly basis. With that being said, the second thing that I was doing throughout this whole week is trying to figure out my whole aspect of like my channel and what I wanted to do in regards to having some sort of structure and having some sort of like concept and not necessarily just like talking into a camera. So I know that we already talked about this. I know that I filmed like a whole like 20-minute section about this, which I'm going to put in this video. But essentially this whole week's video log or week in the life was me talking about that whole endeavor where I used NotebookLM and I used VidIQ to kind of figure out what I was going to do with my life in YouTube. With that being said, I think for next week, there is a couple things that I'm going to do that I'm going to try to achieve. And it's going to be difficult, so I'm going to need y'all to bear with me. But one of them is to change my channel to a episodic type of channel where every single video is going to have a purpose and not necessarily be like, it's just me talking into a camera. So I already did like a plethora of concepts or like episodes that I would like to do, and like I had mentioned before, and I'll just reiterate again, it's going to be broken down into 4 subsections. One of them is going to be like the PhD side, one of them is going to be the writer side for my MFA, the other one is just like the human side, and then the last one is like the teacher side. Each of them are going to have their own particular approaches, like what assignments I give as a teacher. The other one is how I read as a PhD student, etc., etc. So like little concepts like that. And so, yeah, I do know that it's going to be awkward. And I do know it's going to be slightly difficult because of the fact that I'm not really used to having a sense of professionalism, and especially in the field that I just did because I was trying to play around. But I do know if there's one thing that I do want is that I do want a very particular niche audience, or not niche, but I do want a family or like a, I don't want to say a fan base because that's like super like over your head, but I do want to have people that I interact with and I can talk to and I can have a good time and then they can help me and the list goes on. But like I had mentioned before and I'll mention again, I know that I'm saying like I want A, B, and C, but I cannot be asking for something if I don't do anything to make that happen. I don't think I want to remove my persona of like being kind of like all over the place and being like super whatever, no structure, but I do know that to some extent, if I'm gonna claim that I am a PhD student, and if I want to claim that I'm doing the readings and that I'm studying and that I'm trying to develop a framework and etc., that it's obvious that I should show it and I should interact with my lingering fan base that I might potentially have and be like, hey, can you guys help me in this or whatever. But slow and steady. I don't know how I'm gonna handle this whole thing, but I do know that I've been busting my butt for the past week, and I quite literally been like kind of sort of crashing out to kind of find out a structure for episodes and an organization outcome of like how I'm gonna handle it. And I've been having fun, but also I've been tripping out because I'm just like, I don't know how to go about it. But yeah. But I don't know how to process this to some extent. But with that being said, this is going to be officially the final time that I'm going to be closing out my videos like this, because now I am starting to have like a script or like a structure to it. So the last and final time, hello, my name is Manuel Gonzalez. I am a PhD student here in Wayne State University in Detroit, Michigan. If you're new to the channel, this whole channel is a week in the life of a PhD student, where I show you the ups, the downs, the lefts, and the rights in terms of like being a student, being a teacher, being a adjunct, being a regular human, and we go through the process of everything, whether it is me crashing out or me having like a success story, or whether I find something good for my dissertation or not. But so this week it was primarily talking about my channel and what it's entitled to become and what it's entitled for me to look into. But besides that, once again, if you're new here, welcome. Hopefully you like the channel. Hopefully you continue watching. Hopefully you continue to come back. And if you are returning, thank you for being here. And thank you for following my journey into restructuring my little but cutesy little channel. So with that being said, thank you for watching. I'll talk to you guys next week.